Hey everyone, Happy New Year. Welcome back to my podcast, Woolen Words. It has been a hot minute. I feel like this holiday season was just wild and I definitely needed a break just to kind of recalibrate everything, get through the holidays, enjoy the time, not focused on anything video related or honestly just like anything extra. I just kind of stopped doing. I stopped reading as much. I stopped knitting and crocheting as much. I feel like I was just really focused on planning our trip for the holidays and enjoying our time with family. But I'm excited to be back. I'm excited for the new year, and I feel like I'm finally making headway in some big projects that I have wanted to for a while. And I'm finally getting caught up on everything knitting and crochet related that I have wanted to. So I'm excited to share with you guys. Let's start with finished objects. That's usually how these go. So my finished objects, I have a couple, I guess like a few. One of them I cannot show you because I already gifted it to my dad, and it's a beaver. I can show you a picture. It's exactly like the beaver that I made for my mom and the baby shower that she went to. But this one was for my dad. He wanted one as well, and I gave it to him for Christmas. It was so funny. He thought it was great. So I got the beaver done, and then I also have made him an eagle. It is a tiny little eagle, kind of taller than maybe he was supposed to be, but that's alright. He has a cute little tail and little beak. I think it's fun because of the shape, how he's made. You can kind of like make him like short and fat or kind of taller. But yeah, it's a cute little eagle. This is part of the ongoing zoo that I am making for my dad. He loves my little amigurumi crochet animals, and so far he has about, maybe like 6 now. I know I made him a deer and an elephant, and I don't even know what else at this point. I'm almost done making them. I have 3 left. I have a bunny, a bear, and a raccoon that is working. The bunny is in progress. I'll show you that in a little bit, but I wanted to show you that I finished the eagle. It's just a cute, fun little project. I literally crocheted it all in one day, and then I just took maybe like an hour the next day and sewed it all together. So that one was like super quick and easy. The bunny is a little bit more involved. Oh, let me show you. Sorry, I am a little bit scatterbrained today. Let me focus on finished objects. Okay. Excuse my scatterbrainedness. I have to get back into the flow of filming these things. It's been a hot minute. So, finished objects. I got the eagle. I also was really focused on getting rid of yarn that I've had for a really long time and that I am never ever gonna use. I finally decided to go through my stash and just give it up, you know? Like if I'm really not gonna use it and it's not a color or a type of yarn that I really like and that I'm not using for any animals or random crochet projects, I'm just gonna get rid of it. And part of that was realizing that I have a lot of yarn that I've accumulated over the years from doing those animals and coasters and things like that I, one, haven't made in a really long time. I'm not really doing it as often anymore. And 2, I just don't like some of the yarns that I chose. So I was getting rid of a lot of that kind of yarn, and it also made me think that I have a lot of yarn. I love the color of it, but I maybe don't have enough to make like a full garment or an actual usable thing that's like bigger, like a full project. So I decided to make a bunch of yarn cozies. So this was just a free pattern that I found on Ravelry. It was a free download. It is the Yarn Cake Cozy by Seduction's House of Stitches. Yes. And I will link everything down below. These shorter crochet projects, I don't really put on my Ravelry. One, I think it would probably take as much time to like fill out a Ravelry project page for me as it is to like make it. That's an exaggeration, not exactly, but I just don't think it's worth putting a million yarn cozies on my Ravelry page, especially when it's a bunch of scrap yarn and random leftover yarn that I have. I'm just trying to get rid of it and use it up. But I made these two. They're inverses of each other. This yarn, I love these colors. I just didn't have enough to really do a full-size project with. So I decided to do these yarn cozies, and I actually really like them. They work really well. They're really easy to make. The pattern comes in two sizes. So this is like the full cake 100-gram skein type of size. And then I have a couple more that I made in the smaller size. I guess it would be more like 50 grams probably. These ones are a little bit harder to show you just because I am using them right now. Let me see if I can just... Okay, pull them a little bit. I have this one I just made with some brown and tan yarn that I have. All of these yarns are extra cotton yarn that I've had left over for a really long time. I love making coasters out of cotton yarn, but I just have way too much and I'm never going to make that many coasters. So this is a fun way to use yarn that I still love the colors and the look of, but that I'm not going to use for like anything else. So this is another one. It's kind of a cool, I did the dark blue, same dark blue as this one. I did the dark blue, and then it was like this variegated blue, kind of grayish and brown colors all mixed together. And I think that one looks really cool, actually. I love them. I think they're fun. They're practical because I use them a lot. I definitely have been using them for my color work for the Hummingbird sweater. That has been a huge, huge help with all of those colors. And I'm slowly getting through that one. So one thing that I forgot to go get, let me go get it, but I am very excited, and most of you should know that I finished it because I made a video finishing it, but it is the Musselburgh hat that I made for my husband. It was the Musselburgh hat by Zolda Teague, and I used the Miss Babs Yowza yarn in the color work Fired Up. He picked out the color at DFW Fiberfest. He loves those colors, and he's been wearing the hat pretty much since I made it. He wore it when we went on our trip for Christmas, and he loved it because it's actually really warm because it's double layer. You fold it inside of itself. So that has been really, really good. Let me go see if I can find it and show you guys. This is the Musselburgh that I made. So it is reversible. It can be slouchy like this, or you can fold over the brim and then it fits more snug on top. What I love about it is that this side came out pretty stripy, with a little bit of pooling down here, but it came out pretty stripy at this side, on this side. I love the look of it. I think it's so fun and colorful, but it's also still those like dark moody colors, which I think is perfect. And then if you flip it inside out, this is where all of the pooling happened. So we had some awesome color swirls happening on this side, and I love it. I think it looks so cool. I think it's so fun how like the cool tone colors kind of pooled here, and then you have all the warmer tone colors here. It really reminds me of a fire. I guess because the color work is called Fired Up, probably has something to do with that. But I think it's just so fun. It looks like flames happening. And my husband absolutely loves it. We discovered he was wearing it in New Mexico where we went to visit my family, and we discovered that it perfectly matches a shirt that he has, a button-down shirt that he likes to wear over shirts, over like t-shirts, and it has all of the same exact colors. And he was like, wow, I must really like these colors. So that was perfect, and it happened to just work out that way. We didn't think about it or plan it, but he wore them together and he was like, oh my gosh, these are the same colors. So that was really fun. Yeah, and when we got back, I washed it and blocked it again for him. And by block it, I mean I just laid it out to dry. It does have a tiny bit of a halo going on. Nothing major, no pilling, no nothing. Oh, you can kind of see it on the edge here a little bit better. Hopefully. I think it's so fun. This yarn was great to work with, and I definitely would do it again. And I want to make some more Musselburghs, but it's not really ever cold enough here to wear them. But I love beanies. I love winter hats. Okay, so those were my finished objects. I think I explained them pretty well. Maybe. My brain has just been all over the place. I'm so excited to be filming again, but at the same time, I feel like I am on all kinds of trains of thoughts all at once. So we will continue on. Okay. Works in progress. We all know at least one of them, but I want to start with like a newer whip that I casted on not too long ago, maybe a week ago now, I guess. I did not start a Ravelry project page for it, which I probably should have, because I don't know how long they're going to take me because I'm trying something new. As I have always said, I am an adventurous beginner, especially when it comes to knitting. I've been crocheting for a couple of years now, so I can't really call myself a beginner. I think I'm pretty experienced when it comes to crochet. I just did a lot all at once when I learned how to crochet, so I feel like it really advanced me very quickly in the field of crochet, but knitting was a steeper curve to learn for me, so it took a lot longer, and I kind of trudged through the mud with that one. But now that I am a little bit more comfortable knitting, I'm trying everything, trying all kinds of stuff. So I am working on some toe-up socks for my husband. He had picked this yarn a really long time ago when I had no idea how to make socks. I had never made socks, but I was inspired to make socks. So I'm finally using the yarn because I waited so long since I got the first skein of yarn. Again, I had no idea what I was doing, didn't know how much yarn I was gonna need. I don't have enough. So I had to go out and buy a similar kind of yarn, same brand. I think it's slightly different. They feel a bit different. They didn't have the same color that I originally bought, so I couldn't buy two of the same. So I had my husband pick out a similar color scheme that we could find, and I am trying helical knitting. Sorry for the dog barking. Sometimes I forget that it's noisy. This is a very simple toe-up sock pattern. I'm using a video by Nimble Needles. I think his name is Norman. He's great. He makes great videos, and they're very informative. I love it because he also knits continental style, which is very helpful for me because that's also how I knit. I'm learning that helical knitting is actually really easy. At least in the round for something as simple as socks. It might get more complicated the more colors you have, the bigger the project, I don't know. But the way that I just Googled how to helical knit, and I found a couple websites, and I just tried it. So the first little bit I cast on with the first color, which I guess I should tell you in a second. And then I just worked until I kind of set it up. And then once I had that, then I started doing the helical knitting. It looks very stripy down here because it happened to be at a brown spot in the first yarn, and then this other yarn is very like white, black, and gray. I'll show you in just a second. But it's been pretty easy so far. I'm just following the video tutorial that he has. I don't know how I will like toe-up socks versus cuff-down socks. But we'll see. We'll see how I get through it. We'll see how they turn out versus my other socks that I've made for my husband. This is the yarn that I'm using. It is Patton's Crochet Socks. This is the old one. This is the first one that I bought. And I absolutely love these colors. What color is it? Blue, brown, marl. I think they're so fun together. There's kind of like a light brown and a dark brown, and then a light blue and then a darker blue. And it is very cool. And it's like twisted. It has that like marl. It's fun. It's really fun. But surprise, they don't make this color anymore. Not anywhere that I could find quickly and easily. I only had one of these. Turns out you need more than one to make socks for big feet people, big-footed people. Me and my husband both have big feet, so we need a lot of sock yarn. And also these are only 50 gram skeins, so I think most people would need more than one to make socks. But then this is the one that I could find. It is Crochet Socks FX. I don't know if that's different, but it's called Sidewalk Colors, and it's literally just black, gray, and white. And it has that same like twisted, I don't know if that's what's considered the marl or if it's the way the colors blend together. I'm not sure, but it's very twisted and a little bit thicker. Yeah, it looks like there's only 2 colors twisted at a time on this one. And it fades very gradually into each color. So I wish I could have found more of this, but I think it's looking pretty cool with the helical knitting. And I also wanted to do helical knitting because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to run out of either yarn as I'm doing the socks. So hopefully I will get through both socks and everything will be great. I'm just using a US 2 needle, I believe. Yeah, US 2, 2.75 millimeter, Chow-Gu. I forget how long this cord is. 24, 32? One of the two. And I'm also using my new-ish, but new project bag from Paper Crane Yarns. These bags are so fun. I love them. They are the perfect size for most projects, most average size projects. I love the drawstring. They have 2 pockets inside. And she also has a podcast here on YouTube. So if you check out Paper Crane Designs, Paper Crane Yarns, she has a podcast, and I would definitely recommend checking it out. That is also where I got that tiny little paper crane back there. And that's my first work in progress. My second work in progress is another one of these beautiful bags. I love it. It has mushrooms. So cute. And then on the inside it has acorns. I think it's so fun. Okay, anyway. Enough about the beautiful bag. I am making the bunny rabbit for my dad. So I have random pieces, parts. This will eventually go on here, and I have the 2 ears done, and that's all I have so far. This pattern is just a free pattern that I found. I think the original pattern is by Little Fish Crochetery, and I can link the website that I found it on. But yeah, I'm just following it. I had to For the ears, I had to kind of DIY how to do the pink in the inside of the ear because it doesn't specify in the pattern how to do that, but I saw it in one of the pictures. They have multiple pictures with different color bunny rabbits, and one of them had ears very similar to this, and I wanted the pink on the inside. I think it's really cute and it adds a lot of detail, but I had to figure it out myself, which it wasn't hard, but like it's not included in the pattern. That's something that I modified, I guess, or added. But yeah, I'm excited because my dad wants a tan bunny with like dark brown overalls, and then there's a carrot on the overall. So I have orange and green for the carrot, and then the dark brown, I'm actually using the same dark brown in the teddy bear that I'm making, so I have it in a different bag just to have all my yarn separated for each project, but I'll just pull some from that. But it's this like really dark chocolate brown for the overalls. It's gonna be really cute. I'm excited. But that is another work in progress that I have, and then I can work on the other two animals. Thank you for sticking with me and my scrambly thoughts today. It is a little bit warmer than I thought it was gonna be. Texas, what are you doing? So my big project right now is my Hummingbird sweater. I'm still very excited to finish it, but I find myself kind of back and forth, excited to work on it, and then I'm really not excited to work on it at all because it's just a lot. But right now I'm at a point where I'm excited to work on it again because I finally got past the 3 hummingbirds all next to each other. I'll give a round of applause for that one, because this is the second panel that I've had to do all of these birds on. Let me show you what I mean, just in case you are new here and you haven't seen my first knitting podcast where I talk in great detail about the sweater. I also want to just, reiterate everything so that we can all be on the same page and all remember what the heck is going on. Here is the front panel, I believe. I believe this is the front, and I already did the back. So, as you can see, it starts off fairly easy. You have one bird going across, but then you go to 3 birds across. So at that point, I am choosing to do it kind of a hybrid intarsia colorwork method, which means that I always have one ball of red going, obviously, and I just carry my floats. Then for each bird, starts off with just this green color, and I have one ball for each bird. But then when I get up to the wings and you have this lighter color, that means I have 2 colors for each bird and the red. So at this point in the sweater, when you're working on these 3 birds at once, you have 7 balls of yarn working at once, which is a lot, and it makes it go very slowly, especially because every couple rows I untangle and untwist. Not untangle, but I untwist all the yarn so that it doesn't tangle. And it's tedious. It feels never ending. And like you're just gonna forever be in a loop of knitting a row, untwisting yarn, and never finishing the hummingbird sweater. But I'm finally down to 2 birds at the same time. And these are the last birds on the front panel. So I'm very excited because then I have a few rows of just red and then I have some color work at top, but it goes by so quickly because it's so fun and interesting, the color work. I'm excited to keep working on it. I'll probably work on it more today and tomorrow. And eventually I will be done with the front and back panels. And then I can work on the sleeves, which is just something different, which will be nice. But there are also birds on the sleeves, so... Anyway, let me get into the details of this pattern. So it is the Hummingbird by Camilla at Godfredson. I had to really look and find this pattern. It was not readily available on Ravelry or the magazine's website that it was originally published in, so I had to find a random magazine website that you can purchase e-copies of magazines. I thankfully found the exact edition of the magazine that I needed that had this pattern in it. Thankfully it was on that website. It's some, I don't think it's an American website. I think I had to convert the currency or whatever. So that was a whole mess. It took me like 2 days to figure out where it was, find it, and actually buy it. And, confirm that that's what I was buying and not just a similar pattern, but it's not this pattern. So I was very excited to find the actual pattern. I was able to download the couple of pages, or I think it's like 4 pages of the pattern in the magazine. I was able to download them, put them in a PDF, and print them out. I printed a few copies so that I could cross things off as I knit them, to make it easier for me with the colorwork charts, because they can get intense, I guess, is all I can say. Especially as a beginner. This is the first sweater that I am making. So, like I said, I'm an ambitious beginner. Like I said, I think I said this in my first podcast, but I'm knitting my first sweater. It's a colorwork sweater. It's knit panel by panel. So you're knitting and purling. And then you have to sew everything together. And then I'm going back and finishing all of the color work on the hummingbirds by duplicate stitching, because I was not about to have a million colors all at once. It would have been way too confusing, and I definitely would have messed up way more than the few little missed stitches that I have here. So I'm very glad that I decided to do that, but that means more work later on, although probably easier work than I would have had otherwise. So, all for my first sweater, It was fun. And I had to learn how to do color work in general, because I had never done that knitting. So, that was fun. I am using Brooklyn Tweed Pieri yarn. It is a 100% merino wool. It is not superwash, so it is hand wash only. The one, I guess, worry that I have is the pattern is set up size-wise, it's small, medium, medium, large. I'm not sure how many sizes altogether it has, but it's set up like that, small/medium, medium/large. So I'm knitting the medium/large, but my only concern is that it is stretching a tiny bit from the weight of the fabric, which is gonna happen, but I think it's a little bit more than I expected or want, but we will see how it is when it's done. Obviously, I am not going to start over, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal anyway. I think it'll be all right once I get it blocked and finished and sewn together and everything. It might be just in my head that this is happening. So the yarn, Brooklyn Tweed Pieri, gorgeous, gorgeous yarn. Thank you so much to the people at West 7th Wool for helping me pick out the yarn. We did a great job, and I am so happy with all the colors. Let me find all of the colors. So for the base of the sweater, I am using this beautiful brick red maroony kind of color. It is Vintner. It's a beautiful red color, and I don't even remember how many balls I bought, or hanks of yarn that I bought. It's definitely a lot. These come in fingering weight 210 yard hanks, so I had to buy quite a bit to make a full sweater. the main color of the bird is this beautiful greeny color. Green, I don't know. It's beautiful. It's called Aurora. I love this color. I think it's so perfect for a hummingbird. Yeah, and I love this. To go with it for the wings, I am using this very, very pale green called Sea Glass. And it is, again, this pale, pale green color that goes really, really well with Aurora, this green. They are almost just different shades, I think is how you say it, of the same color. They're just beautiful, beautiful together. Now for the like accent color of the birds, I have this beautiful blue. It's just a royal rich blue called Admiral. It is so rich, and I love it. I think it's so like rich and warm and just like awesome. And then I have this like pinky purpley called Kaluna. I think is how you say these names. But it's such a pretty color, and I think it goes really well with this color. I think they'll go really well on the hummingbirds together. And then for the beak, it is this really dark purple, and it's called Cobbler. It is very, very pretty, and again, just rich. All of these colors are so like rich and saturated, and I love it. This one reminds me of like blackberry cobbler, you know, like it's just so good. I love it. It's Oh, and I don't know if I don't think I mentioned this, but these two are almost the same as the greens, and like they're almost the same color but different shades of it, and I love that. I think that's so fun. Wow. Okay, as far as reading goes, like I said, I kind of put off reading for a long time. The only book that I'm currently reading, the other ones kind of fell off into hibernation, but this one I am still currently reading, and it's been really fun. It is The Night and Its Moon by Piper CJ. Now, I found her on TikTok, as probably most people did. She talks a lot about folklore. She has a master's in folklore, and it's really fun, just interesting things that you don't always hear about. But she wrote a whole book series, and she is in the middle of publishing books as they come out in the series. But this is The Night and Its Moon, her first, and so far it is really interesting, and I really like it. It's a pretty easy read in that it's like quick to read. I really like that, but it is a big book, so I am slowly making my way through it. But it is very interesting, and I think very well written, especially for a first-time author. She did a very good job. It's a really fun world. She takes a lot of inspiration from maybe easily recognizable fantasy worlds, which some people might not like, but I think it's fun because I don't think it's like copy and paste things. I think she did a good job of blending them all together into her own new fantasy world. I think it's really fun. I like it so far. So that is what I'm currently reading. And now let me go on to acquisitions. I have a really fun one. The one thing that I got was this journal. It is a Van Gogh painting that they put on the cover of a journal. It's just a blank page journal. But we went to this Van Gogh immersive exhibit that they were having in Dallas for my birthday weekend. So me and Ben went. It was so fun. I love stuff like that. I love art exhibits. I love going to museums and seeing paintings and statues, and I think it's so fun. And this was a really well put together exhibit. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. And then I just got these fun little things. I got these little sticky note tabs. I thought they were fun. I don't know. And they're nice. It's always nice to have tabs. I don't know. And then I got this little brown journal. I think this one's lined. Yeah, this one has lines. Can never have too many little journals like this. I love this size of journal because it's big enough to still write a lot, but it's small enough you can like stick in your bag or just carry with you. And I really like it. It is a pretty small notebook though, so, but it's fun. I like it. I don't know if it's probably not like actual leather, but it has that feel of leather to it. So yeah, I thought that was fun. Then my really fun acquisition is my Christmas present from Ben. He got this for me for Christmas and I was so excited. He got me a yarn winder and Swift. So here is this. It's beautifully made. I think it's rosewood. It is so fun. It works really well. I've already tried it out once. But yeah, love it. It's so pretty. Like this base and everything is just so fun. I love it. It's very exciting. And I had wanted one for a really long time, but I never bought one. Because I wanted to like save up and get a really good one. Ben got it for me for Christmas. That was really nice. Let me show you the winder. So here is the winder. I have this loose so that it doesn't stretch out or wear out just being stored. But it is Fiber Artist Supply Co. And I think if anybody watches Nitty Natty, you will know that this is the one that, very similar one to the one she has. And I love that it's wooden. I love that it's, you know, like handmade wooden, very sturdy, gonna last a really long time. It works really well. I did try it out with just one hank of yarn, but I'm excited to try it more. And it's so nice. I love it. I think it's so good. And it does come with the thing to clamp it to like a tabletop or something, but I find that I haven't needed it so far. And I just have it over here as my little storage because, you know, we live in an apartment. There's not a lot of extra space to like leave things set up the way that you would use them. So I just have to be creative and find places to put things. So those are my acquisitions. I guess we can move on to plans and dreams and goals or whatever we're calling this section. Thank you so much for sticking through this if you are still watching. I really appreciate it because I feel like this episode is just chaotic. My pure train of thought, stream of consciousness is just this video. So thank you for sticking through it. So plans and dreams. I have talked about this one a lot, well, in the 2 podcasts that I've put out so far. It is the Soundstone Poncho by Laura Schmidt. I am still so excited to do this one. I made myself a deal. Once I finish the animals for my dad, I'm gonna cast this one on and learn how to do it. Because I've never done cables before, and this has beautiful cabling going across the middle of the poncho. I have this vision for this poncho, and I have been excited for it ever since I got the yarn. And so it will be so much fun to make and have and wear. But it is inspired by Destination Yarns DFW Fiberfest show colors. They had these 4 colors that were based on Texas. But yeah, I can link my podcast up above so that you can catch all the details if you want them. And I'm sure when I start the project, I will also tell you more about all of the yarn. But I have this vision of having it go from like the prairie lands through the sky to like the sky at night, and that'll be the different colors fading into each other in the poncho, and I'm so excited for it. That's my plan for that. That one is probably going to be my next big project that I work on. I need to start gauge swatching and all of that. So eventually I do want to make a ranunculus and join the world of everyone else who has knit a ranunculus. I have some yarn that's not mohair, but it is almost kind of like mohair in the way that it looks. And it's beautiful yarn that I don't know what to do with. So I think I'm going to try and make a ranunculus out of it. I probably will hold 2 colors together. I have 3 skeins of the same kind of yarn, but they're all slightly different colors. So I'll have to see, I don't know, I'll have to see how it turns out or what I will end up doing. But eventually I do want to make a ranunculus, so that'll be fun. I also have plans to knit a road tripper tee by Ozetta Haley Smedley. That one is something I found on Ravelry, and I really love those like basic tees with buttons here. I think they're usually called like Henley tees. I really, really love those. I just ordered some like long sleeve ones. I'm excited to make like a handmade one. I think it'll be really cozy and fun to do. I don't know. I also want to make a Remola wrap by King Fiber Design Team. I think that's how you say it. It's with a Q, so I think it's King Fiber Design though. But it's the Remola wrap. It's really pretty. They have in the pattern pictures, they have this beautiful almost like earthy tone color blocking going on, and it has like a little design on it. I think it's so pretty. So I'll probably do something similar to that, but those are like far off in the future. I don't know when I'm gonna get to those, but those are things that I am looking at, have my eye on so far. I want to read The Secret History by Donna Tart. It is the pinnacle of dark academia books. So I've heard it is kind of what defines the genre, if you will. So I'm really excited to finally read it. I found a copy, I believe at Half Price Books, so I was very excited to finally get my hands on it and read it, hopefully soon. But I need to get back into reading. I need to figure out how to put it into my schedule, maybe at night before I go to bed. So those are all of my plans and dreams right now. Those are things that I am looking at in the future, or for the future. So now we are at life and closing thoughts, the end of the podcast. Finally, we made it. We did it. We're here. I wrote down a lot because it's been a while and I have a lot to catch up with you on. So we went on our Christmas trip. We went for about a week. It was so much fun. We got to see my family and meet my sister's dog. It was so sweet. We had a blast. We had so much fun. It was really needed and a really great trip. We always do a lot with my family. My family always like jam packs every day full of like everything we can possibly do, which I appreciate because we don't always do that. We don't always see them, but it's also exhausting. We came back and had a day off before we went back to work, and thank God we did, because between driving to New Mexico from Texas and doing everything while we were there, it was a lot. We came back and just pretty much slept and did nothing for a whole day, which was really nice. Basically, since the holidays and everything has happened, I've just been trying to find time, figure out how I'm going to balance all of my hobbies, because I really love making these videos for the knitting community, joining them, making these podcasts. I think it's really fun to share what I've been working on and kind of show people like I don't know, like what you can do even as a beginner. Like you don't have to be scared of these, big crazy patterns just because you're a beginner. You can take your time and learn how to do things as you go, and you don't have to be intimidated by the world of knitting and all of these incredible patterns that people make. And you don't have to just make scarves for your first projects. You can make socks and sweaters and everything and still be a beginner. But you could still make what you want as a beginner. And I really feel strongly about that. Long story short, I forgot my train of thought, but I'm trying to balance all of my hobbies. Oh yes, that's why I'm making this podcast, because it's really fun and I'm an adventurous beginner. Okay, we're fun. We're back. Oh my gosh. I'm also trying to balance like finding time to actually knit and crochet, finding time to read and write and do all of the fun things that I like to do. I like to bake and garden. So trying to balance all of my hobbies while still enjoying them. It's a little bit tricky when you have to work and, still live life, but I feel like I'm really making it a priority to figure that out, to try and be more intentional, which brings me to my New Year's resolution. It's not a resolution, it's more of a focus. It's just, how people pick a word for the year. My word is intentional. I am really focusing on being intentional in everything that I do this year. Part of that is definitely being healthier this year. I know that is such a cliche New Year's resolution, but Ben and I both decided, my husband and I both decided that we are going to really be intentional with our food consumption this year. I don't want to say diet, it's not a diet, but we want to be, intentional with what we're eating. We don't want to just run and grab fast food because we weren't intentional with our grocery shopping and now we have nothing to eat at home. So we're, again, finding those little things to be intentional with. So we've been cooking mostly like vegetarian meals at home. We love eating more veggies and whole foods and finding those ways to incorporate more plants. All of those good things that we all know we should be eating. But we love eating that way. We just hadn't been. So we really missed it and we really wanted to get back to that. So that's what we're doing at home, and I started going to a yoga class, and that has been really fun. I realized in every area of my life that I wasn't being intentional, and it felt like life was just flying by, and I was like, I don't like this. I want to change that. Yoga has been really fun part of that, just moving and stretching more. I feel like I just feel better. All that to say, I could probably keep talking forever and ever, but I should probably stop there. This has been really fun. Thank you so much for joining me. Please like and comment, subscribe for more, and hopefully next podcast will be a little less chaotic. But no promises. I will see you guys next time. Bye!